In 2036, a dangerous zombie virus destroyed the entire world. Earth's soil and water were both infected. It was impossible for humans to live there. Then India's scientist, R.B. Ambani, launched the last hope. Planet Mars. All the survivors were taken to the new planet, Mars. But not everyone got a chance to survive. At the launch pad, a boy was running toward the spaceship at full speed to save his life. His name was Abhi. Wait. I haven't boarded the spaceship yet. But Anil and Komal, standing near the gate, showed no kindness at all. The next second, Komal pushed Abhi away. Abhi was thrown into the air and fell onto the metal platform. Anil laughed and said, "So this is your boyfriend? Delhi IT's youngest top scholar? To me, he's just an overconfident bookworm." Komal laughed as well. "You didn't believe in the Mars plan, right? Now the whole Earth is yours." The next moment, the spaceship doors closed. The engines started. One by one, all the spacecraft flew into the sky. Below, thousands of zombies were still running toward the launch site. At that moment, Abhi officially became the last human on Earth. He began falling backward, directly into the middle of the zombies. But then, a bright blue light descended from the sky. Boom! With a single blast, all the nearby zombies were blown away. At the same time, a mechanical voice sounded. Ding! Doomsday Chief System successfully activated. S-rank zombie taming slots ×3. Normal zombie slots ×50. Basic seed pack received. Then the system gave its first mission. Create a beginner doomsday farm by killing zombies. Abhi stood silently for a few seconds. Doomsday system? Zombie farm? He looked around. Just then, a giant green zombie crawled out from beneath the rubble. It had a huge body, powerful muscles, and blood-red eyes. But Abhi wasn't afraid. He stretched out his hand. Blue energy chains shot through the air and completely bound the zombie. In just a few seconds, the zombie's red eyes turned blue. Its rage disappeared. It slowly knelt in front of Abhi. "Hello, Mr. Abhi." That was it. This was where the zombie army began. 6 months later. Planet Mars, JP Base 003. The situation here was completely different. People were alive. But only in name. A citizen looked at his plate and said, "Worm pie again." "We've been eating this for months," the second man said sadly. "My son is suffering from malnutrition. The doctor says if this continues, he'll become seriously ill." The third man shouted angrily. "We were lied to. The promise of a better life was just a lie." Above them, Anil and Komal watched everything from the balcony. Komal said with hatred, "These people are nothing but a burden. Next month, the base commander will be transferred. After that, this base will be mine. The first thing I'll do is throw all of them into the toxic atmosphere." Both of them laughed. After a while, Anil walked onto the stage, picked up the microphone, and began his speech. "Everyone thinks food is running out. But remember, who gave you a second life? Who saved you? Mr. Ambani." A giant screen displayed Mr. Ambani's photo. Then it switched to Earth's live footage. The land was ruined. Zombies were everywhere. Anil proudly said, "Look. This is the condition of Earth. And we are still alive on Mars." Everyone quietly watched the screen. But suddenly, the video started glitching. The screen flickered. And Earth's scene completely changed. Everyone's eyes widened. Wait. What is this? A farm. Green fields. Fresh tomatoes. Cucumbers. Lettuce. Flowing water. Windmills. Everything was alive. The camera slowly zoomed in. A familiar face appeared on the screen. It was Abhi. He stood there, looking ahead. "Guys, work a little faster." The camera pulled back. The scene shocked everyone in the Mars base. Dozens of zombies, wearing overalls and straw hats, were farming in perfect discipline. Some were harvesting vegetables. Some were filling baskets. Some were watering the crops. A citizen said in shock, "Impossible. That man. He's farming with zombies." Everyone on Mars was stunned. On one side was a lush green farm. On the other side, zombies were working peacefully. Abby stood there with his arms crossed like a boss. He shouted, "Finish the work quickly. Everyone gets off early today." As soon as they heard that, all the zombies became excited. "Okay, Mr. Ubby." Everyone immediately started working at double speed. Then Ubby introduced his special team. First, Hulk, an S-rank zombie, captain of Team Alpha. Next, Sam, a Zephyr rank zombie, captain of Team Beta. Finally, Bella, a pink-haired zombie, supervisor of the entire farm. Just then, Hulk held his stomach and walked over to Ubby. "Mr. Ubby, are you hungry?" Ubby adjusted his glasses and sat down on the lounge chair. "The field team's irrigation channel has been completed. Would you like some tomatoes?" Hulk looked embarrassed and returned to his work. "Mr. Ubby, only 100 feet are left." Ubby replied firmly. "Only those who work get to eat. Finish the channel. I'll give you the 3 biggest tomatoes." The moment Hulk heard that, his eyes lit up. "Really?" The next second, boom! Hulk ran off at rocket speed. He was so fast the dust filled the entire farm. Ubby sighed. "My vegetables." "Hulk, what's your problem?" Meanwhile, Sam stood there with a smile. He started waving the fan even faster. "Mr. Ubby, didn't I tell you? I'm more thoughtful." Ubby snatched the bottle of cola from him and said, "Stop the drama. You deliberately created all this dust." Sam put on an innocent face. "Sorry, Mr. Ubby." But the next second, his eyes glowed bright blue. A powerful vortex of wind formed. Within a few seconds, all the dust was gone. Ubby took a sip of cola and smiled. "Nice. A Zephyr rank zombie is really useful in the summer." Then he looked at the bottle and said, "Liquid happiness." After a while, he began remembering the past. Just 6 months ago, Komal had pushed him off the spaceship. He thought everything was over. But at that moment, the Doomsday Chief System entered his life. It gave him his first zombies. Then this farm. Slowly, he built his own new world. Now the zombies were no longer just monsters. They had become his employees. And Bella stayed by his side all the time. Life had finally become peaceful. But one major problem still remained. A system screen appeared before him. Farm level. Employees. System level. Everything looked normal. But one thing was missing. Shock points. To upgrade the system and unlock the virtual store, he needed SP. And right now, he had 0. He took a deep breath. "I'm the only person left on Earth. How am I supposed to earn shock points? Looks like this beginner farm is my limit." Just then, ding! The system suddenly glowed red. SP plus 99. SP plus 120. SP plus 198. The numbers began increasing at an unbelievable speed. Ubby immediately stood up from his chair. "What? More than 10,000? What's happening? System. Locate the source." A few seconds later, the system replied. "Signal source located. Mars orbit." Ubby fell silent for a moment. Then a smile slowly appeared on his face. "Mars? That means the people over there are watching me." At that moment, the camera pulled away from Earth and entered space. A high-tech satellite was live broadcasting Ubby's Doomsday Farm. Ubby had no idea that his simple farm had become the biggest breaking news on the whole of Mars. Across Mars, there was only one topic of discussion. "Ubby? He's alive?" In the city square, thousands of people stood in front of a giant screen. A woman had tears in her eyes. "A farm. There really is a farm." A young boy pointed excitedly at the screen. "Look! Tomatoes!" Another man stood there in disbelief. "Impossible. We were told that Earth's soil and water were completely contaminated. Then how are these vegetables growing? And the zombies are actually farming?" The entire crowd was shocked. But Anil and Komal were the most shocked of all. Komal's eyes widened. He's still alive. Anil's face was filled with anger. Impossible. We saw him fall from the spaceship with our own eyes. Then how is he still alive? Komal held her head in frustration. He doesn't even have neuropower. Then how did he survive? Anil turned toward the control staff. Turn off the signal. Right now. The next second, the live broadcast went black. Anil told Komal to calm down. This news will reach the other bases soon. Komal said slowly. We'll have to inform Mr. Ambani. Within a few hours, the news spread across the whole of Mars. Everywhere, people were talking about only one thing. Someone had built a farm on Earth. At the space dock, workers discussed the news while working. Did you hear? Someone is still alive on Earth. The second worker replied quietly. My cousin works in the communications department. He saw the satellite footage himself. That man is making zombies do farming. The first worker fell silent. Zombies. Farming? At a dinner table, a small child looked at a tablet. Mom! There really is a farm on Earth. His mother placed the tablet aside. It's just a rumor. Eat your food first. The child said sadly. But the fruits on the screen looked so fresh. The scene shifted. A luxurious villa stood on top of a mountain. This was where Mr. Ambani lived. The founder of planet Mars. Anil and Komal stood before him through a hologram call. Anil explained everything that had happened. But after hearing it, Ambani burst into laughter. Making zombies farm? Anil. I think you've had a hallucination. Komal quickly said. Sir, he was also the top scholar of Delhi IIT. The same one who questioned the Mars project at the United Council meeting. Hearing that, Ambani's expression turned serious. Oh. That boy. He picked up a glass of wine and said calmly. A loser who doesn't even have neuropower could never accomplish something like this. Earth's soil and water were destroyed years ago. If you were stuck alone on Earth, what would you do first to attract people's attention? Fruits can be fake. Vegetables can be fake. Even the zombies could be fake. Anil immediately understood. You mean it was all just a setup? Komal laughed. I knew it from the beginning. A loser like him could never do something like this. Ambani took a sip of wine and gave a new order. Broadcast this footage from Earth to every base. When his lie is exposed in front of everyone, people will become even more hopeless. Then he looked at Anil. The Lin family is the biggest supplier of vampire worms. After this, your orders will increase even more. A smile appeared on Anil's face. Understood. Ambani raised his glass and said. Do your job properly. I will personally recommend you for a seat on the Mars Citizenship and Starfleet Council. Anil and Komal bowed together. Thank you, Mr. Ambani. As soon as the call ended, Anil grabbed Komal by the chin and pulled her closer. A dangerous smile appeared on his face. Now. The entire Mars Federation will laugh at him. Cucumbers, watermelons, and baskets full of vegetables were lined up. The work was finally finished. Ubbi clapped his hands. That's it. Today's work is over. Now it's dinner time. The moment Hulk heard this, he ran over. Mr. Ubbi, are we really getting food? Ubbi laughed. Relax. He handed Hulk a large, fresh tomato. Hulk took one bite. His eyes sparkled. Sweet. It's so sweet. Seeing this, all the other zombies also started eating their fruits and vegetables. The small zombie. The zombie in the business suit. Everyone happily enjoyed their meal. Everyone was smiling. Then, the zombie in the suit quietly picked up an extra basket. But Ubbi noticed him immediately. Wait. Are you trying to eat for free? The zombie froze. Ubbi crossed his arms. Today you were half an hour late for work. There are no free lunches here. The suited zombie lowered his head in shame. Ubbi then pointed toward Bella. Look at Bella. She's been eating watermelon with a fork from the beginning. First work. Then reward. Learn something from her. All the zombies quietly nodded. While eating watermelon, Ubbi remembered the past. A few years earlier, when Ambani announced the Mars Migration Project, Abhi was the youngest top scholar at Delhi IIT. He was also a member of the project's drafting committee. But after reading the documents, he felt something was wrong. The numbers didn't match. The data had been exaggerated. When he investigated further, he discovered a shocking truth. Mars could not support the entire human population. The project was never meant to save everyone. It was only created to save the rich and the powerful. Everyone else was nothing more than a sacrifice. Back in the present, Bella offered Abhi a slice of watermelon. Abhi smiled and slowly said, "I think I should thank Anil and Komal. If they hadn't pushed me off the spaceship, maybe I would never have gotten this life." He opened the system screen. During the past 6 months, he had already collected a large number of shock points. Without hesitation, he pressed the button. System upgrade. 10,000 SP deducted. The next second, a bright blue wave of energy spread across the entire farm. The ground began to shake. The farm's boundaries rapidly expanded. The barren land slowly turned into fertile soil. The zombies cheered excitedly. The system's mechanical voice echoed, "Congratulations! System upgraded to level 2. Then the rewards began to appear. 50 acres of farmland unlocked. 300 normal zombie slots unlocked. Special seed pack received. Glowberry. Swiftberry. Moonlit grain. At the same time, automated irrigation system unlocked. Greenhouse blueprints received. 2,000 pounds of building materials received. With a single upgrade, the entire farm advanced to the next level. But an even bigger surprise was waiting. The system immediately released a new mission. Main quest updated. Upgrade to an advanced Doomsday farm. Objectives appeared one by one on the screen. Expand the farmland. Increase the zombie workforce to 300. Build a strong defense system. Recruit at least one SS rank employee. Abhi carefully read the mission. Then he slowly smiled. Interesting. Looks like we'll need to collect even more shock points. And this time, not just to upgrade the system, but to give the people of Mars a surprise they never imagined. Across the whole of Mars, there was only one topic of discussion: the live broadcast from Earth. A huge public plaza was packed with people. Everyone stared at the giant screen. But the broadcast had not started yet. One man said impatiently, "It's already been 6 months. How could anyone still be alive on Earth?" Another man laughed. "And on top of that, he says he's farming with zombies. What a joke." Just then, a young woman stepped forward through the crowd. "If this is true, then not only one man has survived. There is hope for all of us." The entire crowd fell silent. Deep in everyone's heart, there was only one wish. They hoped it was all true. On the stage, Anil and Komal stood smiling at the crowd. Anil said with a cold smile, "The satellite feed has been perfectly arranged. Today, all of Abhi's lies will be exposed in front of everyone. After that, these people will only fall into despair." Komal laughed as well. But then, a loud voice interrupted them. "It seems both of you already know the result." They both turned around. Commander Gaurav, the commander of Mars Base 003. His expression was extremely serious. "Anil, you sat in my chair so quickly. I haven't even been transferred yet, and you've already started celebrating." The smile disappeared from Anil's face. Commander Gaurav slowly walked toward him and said, "Power. The moment people get it, they reveal their true face." Then, in front of everyone, he asked another question. 6 months ago, why didn't Abhi board the spaceship?" Komal quickly answered. "The zombies had already bitten him." The commander immediately interrupted. "Quiet. I wasn't asking you." Anil tried to explain. "Commander, the final defense line had already collapsed. Thousands of zombies had entered the launch area. In that chaos, it was impossible to save Abhi." Commander Gaurav simply stared at him. It was clear he didn't believe him. Then he walked to the center of the stage and picked up the microphone. Citizens of Mars. Today, we are all gathered here for one reason. If Ubbi is truly alive. If he is farming on the contaminated Earth. If farming is really possible there. And if he can control zombies. Then does that mean there is still hope for our home planet? The entire plaza fell silent. The commander continued. Maybe. One day. We can all return home. The next moment, the entire crowd erupted with excitement. Really? Can we go back to Earth? Maybe our planet can survive again. Only one word echoed throughout the plaza. Hope. Commander Gorev introduced himself. I am Gorev, Commander of Mars Base 003. By order of Mars Command. Today, all 9 Mars bases will watch Earth's live broadcast together. As soon as the announcement was made, the entire plaza burst into applause and cheers. We're going home. Long live Earth. Meanwhile, Anil stood quietly at the corner of the stage. He gritted his teeth and muttered. Be happy while you can. Soon. All this hope will be destroyed. Commander Gorev ignored him completely. He gave a direct order. Start the broadcast. At that moment, the whole of Mars held its breath. Because in the next few seconds, the truth would finally be revealed. Meanwhile, Ubbi looked at the blueprint of his new farm. If I want to build an advanced Doomsday farm, the first step is expanding it to 50 acres. He marked the map. Fields 10 to 20. I'll plant glowberries. They produce light at night. That will naturally illuminate the entire farm. Then he looked at the next section. Fields 21 to 30. I'll plant swiftberries. They mature in only 3 days. That should be enough food for the zombies. Only 20 fields remained. Fields 31 to 50. I'll grow grain. Finally, he smiled. I'll finally get to eat hot rice. Please. Give me a good harvest this time. I want fried rice. Clay pot rice. And curry rice. Meanwhile, everyone on Mars watched the live broadcast. How is this possible? I don't believe it. Is he really farming? Then someone suddenly asked. Wait. Where are the zombies? We were told something else. Anil stood on the balcony and smiled. Now do you understand? Where are Ubbi's zombies? Komal laughed. I think his fake zombies aren't ready yet. Both of them laughed loudly. Even an officer standing among the crowd looked confused. Was everything a lie? Then a senior officer spoke. I've worked with Mr. Ubbi. He never lies. Let's wait a little longer. At that moment, the system's voice sounded. External attention detected. Ubbi looked up at the sky. The people of Mars are watching me again. But why are the shock points increasing so slowly? After thinking for a moment, he smiled. I get it. They're not interested in my farm. They're interested in my farming zombies. Fine. Then I'll show them. Ubbi shouted loudly. Everyone. Get to work. Anyone who arrives late won't get any food. The next moment, the garage doors opened. Zombies began walking out one after another. They all shouted together. Farm. Work. Eat. First, Hulk stepped forward. Team Alpha Captain, Hulk. Reporting for duty. Next came Sam. Team Beta Captain. Awaiting your orders. Then Bella stepped forward. Mr. Ubbi. We're all waiting for your instructions. Ubbi gave his orders. Hulk. You're in charge of land reclamation and planting for fields 10 to 30. Sam. Take care of fields 31 to 50. And also handle the farm's defense. Bella. You'll supervise everyone. Everyone answered at the same time. Understood. Ubbi smiled. Then get to work. If you work, you'll get your reward. All the zombies shouted together. Yes, Mr. Ubbi. Hulk immediately activated his power. Gravity force. Sam also activated his ability. Ether wing. As everyone got to work, Ubby looked up at the sky and thought, the people of Mars are watching me again. But something feels strange. Did they really start this live broadcast just to watch me? Meanwhile, the whole of Mars was stunned. What is this? 3 ranked zombies are captains. And that beautiful zombie is taking notes? This is complete madness. Anil's face darkened. Impossible. This can't be happening. How did he do all this? Komal was equally shocked. How is this even possible? A senior officer stood up. Can everyone see this? This isn't fake. This is a miracle. Another officer said. The zombies are actually farming. I'm tired of living on Mars. I want to go back to Earth. I miss my home. Anil let out a cold laugh. So what? Can he control zombies? Can he make them farm? But can he actually grow anything there? Komal stepped forward. Everyone knows. Earth's soil is completely contaminated. Not even a single plant can survive there. The senior officer became angry. That's enough. Keep watching the broadcast. Ubby looked at the field and smiled. You want to watch a show? Fine. System. Unlock the virtual store. Purchase the growth formula. Bella stepped forward and activated her skill. Glacial conduct. The next moment. Blue energy spread across the entire field. The seeds began growing rapidly. Within just a few seconds, the entire field was covered in lush greenery. Everyone watching the live broadcast was speechless. Is this really happening? I'm not dreaming, am I? The crops. They've actually grown. Ubby smiled. I still have a lot of work to do. Then he sat down on his chair. Supervising is tiring too. Come on. Let's have some entertainment. He called out to the zombies. Everyone, come here. Show me a dance. All the zombies immediately lined up and started dancing. Ubby sat comfortably in his chair and began eating an apple. Now that's more like it. This is really relaxing. Meanwhile, the whole of Mars was in shock. The zombies are dancing? What in the world is happening? I feel like I'm dreaming. A senior officer immediately stood up. Something is wrong. This is completely beyond our control. Bring the vehicle. I need to report this immediately. Across Mars, people watched the live broadcast on their phones. A young girl said excitedly, that pink-haired zombie dances better than I do. And those tomatoes look so fresh. I want some too. The scene shifted. Inside a high-level meeting on Mars, the chief officer looked at Gaurav. Gaurav, is everything we're seeing real? Gaurav answered without hesitation. I swear on my rank. These are real-time images from the Starlink satellite. Everything is real. The meeting hall fell silent. One officer said, this is impossible. Earth was completely polluted. Farming shouldn't be possible there. And how can zombies obey humans? The chief officer remained silent for a moment. Then he spoke calmly. If none of this is fake, if zombie taming and rapid crop growth are both real, then not only Mars, but all of humanity still has hope. Another officer took a deep breath. We made a mistake by supporting Ambani's Mars initiative. Today, our people are living in hell. The chief officer placed his hand on the table. Our highest priority is now only one thing. Partner with Mr. Ubby. This won't just solve Mars' food crisis. It will also strengthen our position in the Mars Federation. And one day, humanity may finally return to Earth. Meanwhile, a wineglass shattered on the floor inside Ambani's office. Ambani said angrily. So everything about him turned out to be real. This news has already spread across Mars. My phone hasn't stopped ringing. Komal said angrily. That loser should have died a long time ago. Anil asked. Mr. Ambani. People are starting to question you. What should we do now? A slight smile appeared on Ambani's face. Don't stop the broadcast. Let even more people watch. When their hope reaches its peak, I will destroy that hope. I will never allow them to return to Earth. Komal was shocked. You want to kill Ubbi in front of everyone? The whole world will be furious. Ambani smiled. Do you think I'm that foolish? I've already scanned the entire area using the Starlink satellite. Not far from Ubbi's farm, there's a massive zombie horde. And among them, there's an SS rank zombie. Anil and Komal looked at each other. You want to lure that SS rank zombie to Ubbi's farm? Ambani nodded. Exactly. I'll release a special gas from the Starlink satellite. It will lure the zombies straight to Ubbi's farm. Then everyone on Mars will watch with their own eyes as the zombies tear Ubbi apart and devour his body. Anil and Komal burst into laughter. Yes. This time, you won't be able to escape. Meanwhile, Ubbi looked at his system. I should thank my viewers. I already have more than 500,000 shock points. In just a few days, the farmland was almost completely planted. The farm walls were nearly finished as well. Now only 2 objectives remained. Recruit 200 more normal zombies. And tame 1 SS rank zombie. Only then would the advanced farm quest be completed. Ubbi looked at the system again. 500,000 shock points. This system is unbelievable. It asks for so much SP for everything. He shook his head. No. I won't spend them now. I'll save them for an emergency. But Ubbi had no idea that not far from his farm, the most dangerous SS rank zombie among thousands of zombies was rapidly approaching. Everyone on the farm was busy working. Hulk shouted loudly. Plowing team. Everyone gathered together. Today we must finish the last fields. Ubbi also gave an order. Construction team. The boundary wall must be completed today at any cost. Every zombie immediately got back to work. Some burned the ground. Some built the walls. Others planted the seeds. Meanwhile, Ubbi sat comfortably on his chair, reading a book. Bella stood beside him, fanning him. Ubbi smiled. What an amazing book. The people watching the live broadcast were stunned once again. He's doing it again. The zombies are working. And he's relaxing while reading a book. His life is actually so comfortable. Meanwhile, Ambani watched the screen with a cold smile. Ubbi, you think you're humanity's hope. But you're nothing more than a survivor trapped on Earth. The real hope is me. He smiled. Farewell, Ubbi. Today, everyone will watch you die at the hands of zombies. Suddenly, gunfire echoed in the distance. The ground began to shake. The people watching the live broadcast became frightened. What is that? A huge number of zombies are coming. What? There's an SS rank zombie leading them too? Mr. Ubbi is finished. Meanwhile, Ambani and his people burst into laughter. Ha ha ha. Ubbi. This time, you can't escape. Inside the farm, Sam ran toward Ubbi. Mr. Ubbi. Ubbi closed his book. What happened? Sam looked frightened. A large number of wild employees have appeared outside. Ubbi paused. Wild employees? Sam hurriedly explained. Mr. Ubbi. There's a huge SS rank zombie leading them. He's much stronger than me. Ubbi immediately stood up and looked toward the farm gate. A massive cloud of dust was rising in the distance. Thousands of zombies were charging straight toward the farm. Leading them was a gigantic SS rank zombie. Every step it took shook the ground. Ubbi looked at it and said, What is this? Sam shouted nervously. Mr. Ubbi. They're going to destroy our farm. But Hulk stepped forward without any fear. Kill them all. Bella also gave an order. Attack. The zombies from both sides collided. The battlefield erupted into chaos. Hulk roared in anger. Die. But the next moment, a huge shadow appeared in front of him. The SS rank zombie. With a single punch, it sent Hulk flying. Everyone watching the live broadcast stopped breathing. What a huge zombie. Oh my god. An SS rank zombie. Mr. Ubbi is finished. At that moment, Everyone believed it was over. But then, Abi walked out of the farm gate alone. The whole of Mars was shocked. What? He went out alone? An officer said nervously. Mr. Abi. What are you doing? Meanwhile, Anil and Komal laughed loudly. Yes. Yes. He's walking to his own death. That's an SS-rank zombie. Even S-rank zombies can't stop it. What can an ordinary person like Abi possibly do? Abi looked up at the sky and smiled. So? You all want to see me lose? You want to watch even more? He smiled again. I see. Then it's time to spend 500,000 shock points. System. Use the SS rank zombie taming slot. Blue energy immediately gathered in Abi's hand. The entire battlefield lit up with blue light. Abi raised his hand toward the SS rank zombie and shouted, Tame. The next moment, a brilliant blue light surrounded the entire SS rank zombie. Its blood-red eyes slowly began turning blue. The entire battlefield fell silent. Everyone stared at the zombie. Would Abi really be able to tame an SS rank zombie? Or would this become the biggest mistake of his life? A massive rank SS zombie, covered in rock-like armor, actually kneels before Abi. This creature is incredibly powerful, yet it respectfully calls Abi Mr. Abi. The story then flashes back and shows Abi's growing zombie army. Different types of zombies are roaming through the destroyed city, while even the other zombies are shocked that such a powerful creature has accepted Abi as its master. Next, the pink-haired zombie Bella excitedly celebrates Abi's achievement. Abi calmly walks toward the giant zombie and pats it on the head. The giant immediately responds by calling him Mr. Abi again. Abi then looks toward the sky with a confident smile and speaks directly to the people watching the broadcast. He basically asks if they are enjoying the show. After that, Abi returns to his workbench and activates his system. The system reveals that he has 500,000 shock points, which he decides to spend on improving himself. Abi confidently says that it's time to build some muscles. The next scene shows Abi walking through the ruins with more than 200 tame zombies following him. Thanks to the rewards from the taming slots system, he was able to recruit hundreds of new zombie employees and clear the surrounding area overnight. Meanwhile, the people watching the broadcast are completely stunned. A blonde woman realizes that the giant creature is a rank SS zombie. A man in a white suit explains that a rank SS zombie is powerful enough to destroy an entire city. So they cannot understand why such a terrifying creature would willingly kneel before Abi. But Commander Gorev has a completely different reaction. Instead of being worried, he laughs with excitement and praises Abi. He calls Abi the youngest top scholar of Delhi IIT and says that Abi could be the hope humanity needs to eventually return to Earth. However, the public reaction quickly turns chaotic. Thousands of people watching the broadcast begin shouting in anger. They start questioning everything they were told about Earth. They were told that Earth's soil and water were completely contaminated and that humans could no longer survive there. But Abi has survived on Earth, built a farm, tamed zombies, and created an entire workforce from them. Now the people realize that Abi is living a better life on Earth than many of them are living on Mars. The crowd becomes furious and starts accusing R.B. Ambani of lying to them. They begin chanting that Ambani deceived everyone and deliberately hid the truth about Earth. R.B. Ambani watches the situation getting completely out of control. He immediately shuts down the broadcast, hoping to stop the people from seeing any more of Abi's success. But it's already too late. The public has seen the truth with their own eyes. Ambani becomes furious and blames Abi for destroying everything he worked to control. He clenches his fist and swears that one day he will kill Abi. He then orders his bodyguard to move and quickly boards a futuristic flying shuttle. As the shuttle disappears into the sky, one thing has become clear. Abi is no longer just a survivor. A huge crowd celebrating and cheering for Abi. Everyone is excited after witnessing his incredible achievement on Earth. Suddenly, a futuristic spaceship arrives and lands at the base. An important elderly official steps out, and the crowd realizes that the head of the council himself has arrived. People are surprised because even such a powerful figure is now getting involved in Abi's situation. The head of the council then meets Commander Gorev and asks him about what happened at Abi's farm. Gorev explains that investigators from the Starwatch Division and Orbital Command discovered something shocking. A mysterious projectile had been fired near Ubby's farm. The projectile contained a special gas that attracts and enrages zombies. After the projectile landed, the gas spread through the area and caused a huge zombie horde to attack Ubby's farm. Gorev immediately realizes that this was not an accident. Someone deliberately tried to use the zombies to kill Ubby. He becomes furious and calls it nothing less than an attempted murder. The head of the council then decides to address the public. He steps onto a high-tech podium while the entire city watches the live broadcast. Behind him, images of Ubby's farm, his crops, and the powerful rank SS zombie appear on the giant screen. He explains that Ubby has accomplished something nobody believed was possible. He survived on the contaminated Earth, created a functioning farm, grew fresh food, and even managed to tame a terrifying rank SS zombie. For the people living on Mars, Ubby has now become more than just a survivor. He has become a symbol of hope. The head of the council tells everyone that Ubby's achievements could eventually give humanity a chance to return to Earth. The crowd erupts with excitement and begins cheering for Ubby. But the head of the council isn't finished. He makes a powerful declaration on behalf of the authorities, warning anyone who tries to harm Ubby that they will be treated as an enemy. In other words, anyone plotting against Ubby will have to answer to the authorities. The crowd loves the announcement and begins celebrating even more. But after the public speech, the situation becomes more serious. Away from the crowd, the head of the council privately speaks with Commander Gorev. He reminds Gorev that the first conference of the Mars Federation is only a few days away and that it could become a very important event. Gorev understands that anyone planning against Ubby will not simply sit back and wait. The head of the council then gives him an important warning. The danger may not only come from outside enemies. There could also be people within their own side who are secretly working against Ubby. So he orders Gorev to keep his eyes open and carefully watch the people around him. Gorev accepts the responsibility and assures him that he understands. Before leaving, the head of the council tells Gorev that he trusts his judgment. But the final scene reveals something disturbing. A mysterious blonde woman watches the situation from a distance with a cold and suspicious expression. She looks toward Ubby's direction and silently thinks, "Ubby, just wait and see." This makes it clear that even though Ubby now has powerful people supporting him, there are still hidden enemies waiting for the right moment to strike. Outside Ubby's farm, where he is standing with his main zombie team, Hulk, Sam, and Bella. In front of them is the massive rank SS zombie that Ubbi recently tamed. Since everyone else already has a name, Ubbi decides that it's finally time to give the giant zombie one as well. Hulk looks at her huge muscles and suggests the name Muscle Baroness. Sam immediately likes the idea. Ubbi agrees that the name actually suits her perfectly. But there is one problem. The rank SS zombie doesn't like the name at all. She tells Ubbi that she doesn't want to be called Muscle Baroness. Before Ubbi can decide what to do, something unbelievable happens. The giant zombie suddenly transforms. A bright light surrounds her enormous body, and when the light disappears, everyone is completely shocked. The terrifying giant is gone. In her place is a small, pale young girl with white pigtails and a stuffed rabbit in her arms. Hulk can't believe what he is seeing and wonders if the Muscle Baroness somehow became smaller. The little girl explains that this is actually her true form. The massive zombie they saw earlier was her Carnage form, which she uses when she wants to look more intimidating and unleash her strength. Ubbi is surprised by the enormous difference between her two forms. But now he becomes even more interested in her abilities. Ubbi asks her what kind of neuropower she possesses. The little girl explains that she has an ability called psychic domination. However, she says her psychic ability is somewhat limited because she can only temporarily control lower-rank zombies. To demonstrate, her eyes begin glowing red. She uses her psychic power, and a large group of low-rank zombies immediately bows down together. Everyone is impressed. Bella realizes that this ability could actually be extremely useful on the farm. Ubbi also understands the advantage. If this new zombie can supervise the other employees, then anyone who tries to slack off will immediately get caught. But then Ubbi asks an even more important question. Does she have any other neuropowers? She says yes. Ubbi is shocked when she demonstrates her second ability. She raises her hand and unleashes an enormous fiery beam into the sky. The attack explodes into a massive pillar of fire, leaving everyone speechless. The system then confirms the truth. This rank SS zombie possesses both psychic and pyro neuropowers. Ubbi realizes just how powerful his newest employee really is. After seeing her abilities, Ubbi finally decides on her name. He names her Annie. Ubbi gently pats Annie on the head and officially welcomes her into the farming family. He tells her that from now on, she is part of their team and hopes she will get along with everyone. Hulk introduces himself first. Then Sam welcomes Annie and promises to have her back. Finally, Bella introduces herself and tells Annie that she can simply call her Bella. And just like that, Ubbi's zombie family gains a new member. But this isn't just an ordinary employee. Annie is a rank SS zombie with 2 powerful neuropowers, and she may become one of the most important members of Ubbi's farm. Ubbi's farm looking completely different from before. The once barren land is now filled with lush green fields growing cabbages, strawberries, blueberries, and other crops. Automated irrigation systems keep everything running smoothly, while Bella supervises the zombie workers and makes sure everyone gets their share of the harvest. Annie happily enjoys the fresh food and tells Ubbi that it tastes delicious. Even Hulk and Sam are excited about the harvest. Sam remembers how miserable his old life was when he had to survive by collecting trash. For Ubbi and his zombie employees, this farm has become a completely new way of life. Then Ubbi remembers the recent zombie horde attack. After the horde disappeared, he discovered a piece of toxic ammunition outside the farm. The ammunition carried the logo of Skomov Corp. This makes the attack look even more suspicious. But despite the attack, Ubbi didn't just survive. He managed to tame the terrifying rank SS zombie, Annie, and recruit more than 300 zombie employees. Ubbi has already spent more than 1 million shock points to develop his farm. Using the system's growth formula, he dramatically accelerated the growth of his crops. The farm has now expanded beyond 50 acres, with greenhouses, automatic irrigation, strong surrounding walls, and warehouses filled with supplies. At this point, the system suddenly activates. A notification appears telling Ubbi that he has completed the advanced Doomsday Farm quest. As a reward, the system upgrades to level 3. Ubbi receives 100 acres of clean land, 50 additional normal zombie taming slots, and a huge collection of livestock. The system provides chicks, ducklings, calves, lambs, and piglets. But that's not all. Abi also receives technical blueprints for a water treatment plant and a food processing plant. Abi becomes extremely emotional when he realizes what this means. After surviving for half a year without real meat, he can finally raise animals and eat fresh meat again. But his happiness doesn't last for long. The system immediately gives him another quest. This time, Abi must upgrade the advanced Doomsday farm into a beginner Doomsday base. The requirements are much more difficult. He needs to plant 100 acres of land, increase his workforce to 800 employees, and build 3 basic factories. A water treatment plant, a food processing plant, and an arms factory. Abi understands that the water and food factories shouldn't be too difficult. But the arms factory is a completely different problem. He doesn't have the necessary blueprints, and almost every factory on Earth was destroyed during the apocalypse. Abi wonders where he could possibly find the plans for an arms factory. Then he notices something else. His shock points aren't increasing. This makes Abi suspicious. He starts wondering what is happening on Mars and what the people there are doing. Meanwhile, Abi has no idea that the situation on Mars may soon become connected to his next major challenge. His farm is growing stronger, his zombie army is expanding, and now he needs to turn his peaceful farm into a fully equipped Doomsday base. Ordinary people travel through a futuristic city, but everyone is focused on one major event, the upcoming Mars Federation Conference. A news broadcast announces that this is the first major Federation conference, where leaders will discuss resource allocation and technological development for the next 5 years. However, one person has become the biggest topic of discussion: Abi, the last surviving human on Earth. A young woman believes Abi will definitely be discussed at the conference because his recent achievements have attracted enormous attention across Mars. But another passenger remains skeptical. He argues that no matter how capable Abi is, he is still stuck on Earth and cannot directly solve the problems facing the millions of people living on Mars. The scene then shifts to the massive conference building. Crowds and reporters gather outside while futuristic spacecraft fly overhead. Inside the enormous auditorium, representatives from different nations and factions begin taking their seats. Meanwhile, 2 powerful figures are having a private conversation. R.B. Ambani speaks with Albert Easton, the president of B-Utopia. Ambani explains that Albert Easton's public approval has been falling, and Abi is one of the main reasons. Because of Abi's recent achievements, people have started questioning B-Utopia's leadership. Albert Easton is deeply concerned because he believes B-Utopia should remain the leading power in the Mars Federation. He reminds Ambani that they were the ones who proposed the Mars Migration Project, promising that Mars would become humanity's last hope. Albert Easton refuses to allow another faction, especially Delhi IIT, to take their position. Ambani confidently assures the president that he already has the situation under control. Soon, the conference doors open. High-ranking military officers and representatives from different factions enter the auditorium. As everyone takes their seats, whispers spread throughout the hall about Delhi IIT's sudden rise in attention. Everyone knows that Abi's achievements are the main reason Delhi IIT has become so important. The delegates are amazed that a human survivor on Earth has accomplished so much despite being completely isolated from Mars. Finally, the conference officially begins. Tony Stark, the head of the Starfleet Council, steps onto the central holographic podium. He welcomes all the leaders and representatives and officially declares the first Mars Federation conference open. He explains that the main purpose of the conference is to create a strategy for humanity's survival and development over the next 5 years. But then Tony Stark reveals that an unexpected factor has emerged. There is now one person the leaders can no longer ignore. Abi, the last surviving human on Earth. The entire conference is about to discuss how a man who was supposed to be abandoned and forgotten on a dead planet has suddenly become important enough to influence the future of humanity. And this is only the beginning of the conference. The conference becomes even more intense when the leaders are shown holographic images of fresh, healthy watermelon fields on Earth. The delegates are amazed by what they are seeing. They can't believe that such fresh crops are growing on a planet they were told was completely destroyed. Tony Stark, the head of the Starfleet Council, reminds everyone that Earth is humanity's original home. Years ago, a deadly zombie virus forced humanity to abandon Earth and escape to Mars. But now, there are clear signs that life has returned. Tony Stark believes this could mean humanity may finally have a chance to return to Earth. However, not everyone agrees. Albert Easton and R.B. Ambani immediately object to the proposal. R.B. Ambani argues that Earth's soil is still heavily contaminated and its water remains dangerously radioactive. According to him, Earth should not be able to recover for at least another 50 years. He then makes a serious accusation. R.B. Ambani claims that Abi is faking the crop images to trick everyone into believing that Earth has become habitable again. A military officer immediately rejects the accusation and insists that the satellite images are genuine. But R.B. Ambani isn't convinced. He points out that satellite images alone cannot prove whether the crops are actually safe to eat. Then he raises another major problem. There are around 40 million people living on Mars. So even if Abi's crops are real, R.B. Ambani asks how one relatively small farm could possibly produce enough food for such a massive population. He also claims that Abi's ability to control zombies and make them work on his farm is nothing more than an elaborate scam. The delegates become increasingly confused. R.B. Ambani then takes his argument even further. He brings up the previous zombie attack on Abi's farm. According to him, when the zombie horde nearly destroyed the farm, Abi somehow managed to bring a rank SS zombie under his control. R.B. Ambani suggests that this was not a coincidence. He creates a conspiracy theory that Abi secretly made some kind of deal with the zombies and is deliberately trying to trick humanity into returning to Earth. Some delegates begin to think that his theory might actually make sense. But a military officer immediately accuses R.B. Ambani of spreading slander. R.B. Ambani confidently responds that nobody on Mars can actually prove him wrong. Since everyone is living on Mars and cannot directly investigate Abi's farm, he believes he can make any accusation he wants without consequences. But then the situation takes a dramatic turn. The senior delegate from Mars Council admits that they currently don't have direct evidence to completely disprove R.B. Ambani's claims. However, he makes one thing absolutely clear. Mars Federation will not allow anyone to slander Abi. He declares that Abi is now Mars people hope. He then gives everyone a serious warning. Anyone who deliberately tries to harm Abi will be treated as an enemy of Mars Federation. With that declaration, the Mars Federation delegate ends the discussion and walks out of the conference. The other delegates are left shocked. They begin whispering among themselves, wondering if Mars Federation is really prepared to break relations with B-Utopia over Abi. Meanwhile, Albert Easton doesn't seem worried at all. Instead, he smiles and says that things have just become much more interesting. The conference may have ended, but the political conflict surrounding Abi and the future of Earth has only just begun. At Abi's farm, where his zombie workforce is busy developing the base. A young zombie sub-boss reports to Abi that the water treatment plant and food processing plant have both been successfully built according to the system's blueprints. The only thing left is to train the employees. A female zombie assistant volunteers to handle the training, so Abi turns his attention to the next major project, the arms factory. But there is a problem. The zombie sub-boss explains that without the proper schematics, he cannot build the factory. Abi thinks about it and realizes that constructing the workshop itself isn't difficult. The real problem is the lack of molds and weapon designs. If they could get a batch of weapons, Abi could study them and use the information to reproduce the necessary designs. Meanwhile, somewhere on Mars, a secret meeting is taking place. R.B. Ambani welcomes Anil and Komal into his private office. The relationship between Delhi IIT and B-Utopia has become extremely tense because of Abi, so Ambani is surprised that two senior Delhi IIT officials are willing to secretly meet with him. Anil is clearly furious. He blames Abi for creating chaos across Mars and claims that Abi has ruined his and Komal's chances of obtaining positions on the Starfleet Council. But the two visitors haven't come just to complain. They have a plan. Anil points out that Abi is receiving enormous attention because he has managed to grow crops on Earth. If Abi can grow food on such a dangerous planet, they assume that he must possess some kind of special seeds. Their plan is simple. They want to steal Abi's seeds, bring them back to Mars, and grow the same crops there. If they succeed, Abi's biggest advantage will disappear. Ambani becomes interested but asks the obvious question. How are they going to steal the seeds? Komal then reveals their plan. Using Ambani's authority, they want to send autonomous armed drones to Earth. The drones would secretly enter Abi's farm, collect crop seeds and soil samples, and eliminate Abi if possible. They also believe the drones will be difficult to trace back to Ambani. Even if the mission fails, they think there will be no clear evidence connecting him to the attack. Ambani is impressed by the plan. He laughs and agrees to support them. But he also offers them something in return. If the operation succeeds, Ambani promises to use all his political influence and resources to help Anil and Komal obtain seats on the Starfleet Council. That would give them greater power and allow them to escape the control of the Delhi IIT government. The two officials are satisfied with the deal. The three conspirators raise their glasses in toast to their partnership. Meanwhile, Abhi is completely unaware that another secret attack is being planned against his farm. And this time, the enemies aren't simply trying to destroy his crops. They want his seeds, his technology, and ultimately Abhi himself. A peaceful scene at Abhi's farm. Under the beautiful night sky, Abhi and his zombie employees gather together for a hot pot feast. For the past 6 months, Abhi has survived mostly on tomatoes and cucumbers. So when he finally gets the chance to eat real pork, he becomes incredibly emotional. He takes his first bite and enjoys the meat like it is the greatest meal of his life. Even the zombies can smell the delicious food. Hulk looks at the hot pot and desperately asks Abhi if he can have some meat. He promises that he will work even harder from now on. The other zombie employees also start begging for a share. Bella points out that meat is rich in protein and would be good for their recovery. Even little Annie walks over while holding her stuffed rabbit and asks Abhi for some. At first, Abhi pretends to be strict. He asks them how they can possibly expect to take their boss's food. The zombies immediately look disappointed. But Abhi is only teasing them. He brings out a huge copper hot pot filled with meat and broth and tells everyone that this one is for them. They can eat as much as they want. The entire group becomes excited and happily starts eating. But while Abhi and his employees are enjoying their meal, something dangerous is happening far above them. A group of enemy operators is monitoring Earth through a drone control center. Komal reminds RB Ambani that they cannot allow Abhi to escape again. Ambani confidently tells her not to worry. He claims that his company's newest armed drones are equipped with advanced weapons and that Abhi has no neuropower. According to Ambani, once the drones lock onto Abhi, killing him will be guaranteed. Anil is equally confident and believes everything Ambani has done is finally leading them toward victory. The drones then reach their target area and begin scanning Abhi's farm. The technicians expect to find something suspicious. Instead, they discover something unbelievable. The drone cameras reveal enormous fields filled with real organic crops. There are tomatoes, cucumbers, strawberries, blueberries, and many other healthy plants growing across the farm. The technicians are completely shocked. They confirm that the crops are genuine. Everything Abhi has shown to the people of Mars is real. Ambani becomes impatient and orders the technicians to continue with the mission. But then a female technician suddenly notices something unexpected on the drone feed. She turns around in complete disbelief. The drone isn't just watching Abhi's farm. It has discovered Abhi and his zombie employees enjoying a huge hot pot dinner together. The technician nervously tells Ambani, "Mr. Ambani, they're having hot pot." And this discovery proves that Abhi's farm is far more developed and prosperous than their enemies ever imagined. While Ambani's side is preparing to attack, Abhi is completely relaxed, enjoying his first real meat meal in 6 months. But the enemy drones are already watching him. The real danger is about to begin. Abhi takes his first bite and enjoying the meat. Inside the enemy control room, where the operators are watching Abhi and his zombie employees enjoying their hot pot. The technicians are completely stunned. They can't believe that Abhi is actually eating real meat on Earth. Even his powerful rank-S zombies are sitting together and enjoying the meal like a normal group of people. RB Ambani is especially shocked when he realizes that Abhi must have raised pigs on Earth to produce the meat. Komal looks at the hot pot and admits that she has almost forgotten what real meat tastes like. But Anil is furious. He can't understand how Abhi can live such a comfortable life while millions of people on Mars are still struggling to survive. Anil finally loses his patience and orders Ambani to stop watching and kill Abhi immediately. Ambani gives the order to lock the drones onto Abhi. Back at the farm, Abhi and his employees continue enjoying their meal. Suddenly, Hulk notices something strange in the sky. Before Ubbi can figure out what is happening, Bella urgently warns him to move. A powerful energy beam suddenly comes down from above and strikes the rooftop. The explosion completely destroys their precious hot pot. Ubbi is absolutely shocked. After waiting 6 months to finally eat real meat, his dinner has been destroyed after only a few bites. Ubbi becomes furious. He remembers how much determination it took for him to slaughter that pig in the first place. Now, after finally getting the chance to enjoy the meat, an enemy attack has ruined everything. Ubbi immediately orders his zombie employees to take down the drone. Hulk throws a massive boulder toward it, while Bella launches sharp ice attacks. But the drone is flying too high and manages to avoid their attacks. Then Annie notices something even more upsetting. Her stuffed rabbit has become dirty because of the explosion. Annie becomes furious. Without hesitation, she summons a massive fireball and launches it toward the drone. At that moment, Ubbi realizes something important. This isn't just a surveillance drone. It's an autonomous armed drone equipped with advanced weapons. And Ubbi has been searching for weapons and equipment for his future arms factory. Before he can stop Annie, her attack has already been launched. The giant fireball hits the drone directly and destroys it. But then Ubbi notices something even more interesting. More armed drones are arriving in the sky. Instead of panicking, Ubbi suddenly smiles. He realizes that his enemies are practically delivering free military equipment directly to his farm. So he immediately changes his orders. Instead of destroying the remaining drones, Ubbi tells his zombie employees to capture them intact. After all, he needs weapons and technology for his new base. The enemy came to Earth intending to assassinate Ubbi. But they have unknowingly delivered exactly what he needs to build his future arms factory. What was supposed to be an assassination attempt may have just become a free supply delivery for Ubbi's growing Doomsday base. But Ubbi has no idea that while he is busy building his farm, someone on Mars is already making a move against him. His shock points have suddenly stopped increasing. The arms factory still has no blueprint. And Ubbi doesn't even know who is watching him from the shadows. But one thing is certain. His peaceful farming life is about to change forever. Will Ubbi discover who is behind everything? Will he finally get the arms factory blueprint? Or will his enemies reach Earth before he's ready? The answer will be revealed in the next part. If you want the next part, like and subscribe. Let's hit 200 likes for part 2. And trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next.